Hey, this one and only Thaddeus, aka known as Thatheisonebillion. I thank you once again for coming towards my channel today to be able to see, of course, the reaction towards David Goggins, the best 10 minutes of your life, which the original video is titled. And I tell you this, like, wow, David Goggins is such a man of fortitude and just power. He's really known for just his relentlessness and going to the Navy SEALs and just doing so many different things that's been unheard of. To be able to push the body beyond what we thought were limits, what we thought was the limit, he saw as the base, and that's just where it is. His story is really just impeccable. And of course, I don't want to spoil too much before we get into the video right here. But just know this is a place towards starting over a billion intellectual conversations within the comments. Of course, comment. Of course, um, subscribe. Those things are all important to be able to build our community. But what's most important is to be able to comment and start over a billion intellectual conversations. It starts between someone as in myself and you. Because for all the negativity that we see in the world, is it wrong to be able to start a little bit of positivity of our own? For all the things that we can always hop on our phone and be able to see something negative, someone talking negative, somebody just not living the way they're supposed to be. Social media isn't our life. Social media is just supposed to be our way of connection. But isn't it strange that in the world that we have the most connection in between each other, that we have the most disconnection? The more people we know of than we actually know, the more that we feel alone, even though we have 1,000 friends, followers, following. So from that, let's get ready to get into this video about David Goggins. Let me get ready to add it right here. And let's dive into it, family.
Your brain is the most powerful weapon in the world. Once you put away your phones and your computers and all that we have nowadays, that's great. We're up to date. But your brain is the only thing you have when you're going through depression, when you're going through hard times, when you're going through death. Real life, you can't Google that, man. You're alone. You're alone. You may have a shrink you're going to, you may have a best friend you're going to, but there's 24 hours in the day where you're alone in this brain, and your brain is talking to you in all kind of ways, and it wants to control you and pull you in these different pockets. If you can't control your own brain and your brain controls you, you got to tell your brain where you want to go and how you want to go and how you want to get there. You got to control it. If not, it's over.
Wow.
What existed for me was, okay, man, how am I going to make this work? And all I knew back then was hard work. The only way anything gets accomplished. That's all I heard back in those days. You got to work hard. You got to work hard. I'm not getting I can't get this paragraph. I can't remember what in this paragraph to pass this test to get in the military. Read it again. Still not getting it. Read it again. But if you're not getting it, write it out. And that's how I started learning. Okay, well, I got to write out everything I do. And then write it out again. And write it out again. And guess what happened? I got it.
And one thing I want you to be able to see is from what he's saying right here, is the power of consistency. It sounds dull. We done heard it probably plenty of times in our life, but it's really about doing something over and over and over again that really unlocks a light bulb within your mind. If you think you're slow, if you think you're dumb, you're stupid, no matter where you think that your mental is, because in all honestly, none of us is really dumb. And in reality, none of us is really truly slow. It's just the perception that we have of ourselves. Even if you see yourself truly as that way, you don't have to allow that to define who you are. Even if you are what you said, slow person, if you do something enough times, do something so many times that if someone sees you do it for the first time, for their first time seeing you do it, have them think that you started off that way. Have them think that you're gifted. It's about doing something so much, so relentless that people can't even fathom how you're able to do it.
I got it. I can't swim. I'm negative buoyant. Go back again. I can't swim. Go back again. Go back again. Go back again. I got it.
But like I said, that's a very important thing for just what he's saying right there. Honestly, it's the truth. And I just think that it's just something that's so powerful for you just to be able to see right then and there. It's just so powerful.
Going back and going back and going back until just becomes, your mind will say, okay, we're going to figure it out, because he is not going to stop.
Mhm.
It's not like I'm going to try one more time. No, it's just like alarm clock goes off, boop, we're going back. I can't read right, we're going back. I gave myself no way out, and my mind realized that. They said, okay, we're going to adapt and overcome now. Like a lot.
From what he said, when's the last time, and I'm speaking to myself as well, when's the last time you gave yourself no way out? That you told yourself, and you knew it for sure. Your brain knew you were serious, because your brain know when you lying, because it's with you all the time. What David Goggins said, it's with you 24/7. It's with you 24/7, and because of that, when's the last time you gave yourself no way out until you saw something through, until that task, that thing was completed? If you can't think of it, it's probably time, especially for myself, to do it once again, because that's the only true way that only not only that we'll see results, but we see the things that we need in our lives to be able to be worthy of having and or doing.
People say trying hard. Your mind knows, man. It knows this guy's bull. I mean, man, this guy's lying. There's no truth behind it. When I was in Navy SEAL training, people go, how were you there for 18 months? The program was only 6 months long. You were in 3 hell weeks in 1 year. No one's ever done that. How did you do that? I talk about the new norm. When I lived in a $7 a month place when I was growing up for a short period of time, I loved it. I didn't know any different. That was my norm. Once we moved out of that place, we moved to a $236 a month place. I was like, I never want to go back to that little piece of shit. But if you go back to that $7 a month place and you realize this is where I live, this is all I got, your mind says, Roger that, this is home. So when I was going through Navy SEAL training for 18 months and going back through all the hard parts over and over again, I told myself after the first time, I knew it was gonna be a long journey there. My body was breaking down. It was just how it was going on. I said, you know what? This is my new norm. So my mind said, it's like going to work. Like you go to work, you put your suit and tie on. I go into suffering every day. Every day, suffering, being broken, duct taping my feet up, stress fractures, shin splints, being broken. This is my new norm. And your mind says, if we're not broken, this ain't normal. We gotta be broken. So then your mind starts to get tougher and tougher and more callous. People, how'd you run on broken feet? Broken shins. My mind knew this is how we operate. We're in Navy SEAL training.
Wow.
This is what we are. I became hell. And that became my new norm. I gave myself no way out. There was nothing outside these walls of hell. Nothing. I love God, but for a short period of time, I became the devil, because that was hell. I became the boss, the owner, the CEO of Navy SEAL training. That was my mindset. And that's how you get through things. You immerse yourself wherever it is, you become that. You become that and give yourself no way out.
Wow. Man. That was so much I got from that. Me personally. It isn't just about what we submerge ourselves into. It's about not just giving ourselves no way out. It's about making it your norm. That's one thing that really stuck out to me. As he said that what happens if you make this your norm? If we make this your norm. As in, he said when he was there in Hell Week for 18 months, which he said he went through Hell Week 3 times, which most people not even making it through the first. How he was able to do it. He simply said that not only did he not give himself a way out, but he became that. He said he became hell. For his love of God, he became hell. He made it his norm. How many things right now that may feel like hell to us probably feel unbearable that we haven't made it our norm? That's because we know that nothing stays the same. Nothing is forever. But oftentimes, if we suffer first, we'll be able to enjoy later. And if we decide to enjoy now, we'll suffer later. Choose your heart. And what David Goggins says, right? Stay hard.
When I was 297 pounds and I was fat as hell trying to be a Navy SEAL, the scariest thing in the world to me, even to this day, was that could have been the rest of my life. I thought then I was trying hard. That's the scariest thing in the world. I thought then, 297 pound, working for Ecolab, spraying for cockroaches, making $1,000 a month. I thought that was me at my 100% potential. Come to find out, a few years later, I wasn't anywhere near that. 106 pounds less, graduated Navy SEAL training, went on to do all these other things. Looking back on that, that was me trying hard. That's why people got to understand what is in us. We have no idea until we start trying hard. And I mean really trying hard, where you're obsessed with, hey, this is my new norm. My new norm is that, wow, this isn't always fun. It's not always meant to be fun. And that's when you know you're trying hard. People hear my story and think it's not sadistic. I realize how the brain works. I figured out how the brain works. I'm a scared kid, and that's what gives me so much power. I had no foundation, and I built this off of just researching the mind. The feeling you get is basically invincibility. You realize that you can't do it all the time. When you need to do it, I know I can go to a place that I can live in. And when you know that you can run on broken legs and you can do certain things that a lot of people can do, but they're not willing to do, this power, this sympathetic nervous system of fight or flight.
Notice what he just said. He said, knowing that you have the power to do what other people can do, but aren't willing to do. How many things right now do you know that anybody could really do, but most people aren't willing to do? Most people can go to the gym. Most people don't go to the gym. Most people can eat healthy so they can be healthy for the rest of their lives, heal themselves through true medicine, which is food. Most people choose not to. It's a list of things. What is something that you're not willing to do, that you know you need to do, and that you can do? And what change will you make today? Don't feel motivated. Be encouraged to be different and put an action in today to make a difference before anyone else. Make a difference in yourself. You are the only person you have to wake up with and go to bed with every single day. Make a song you're proud of.
And you're fighting. It gives you this charge of energy of when you're sitting there at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning and you're duct taping your feet up because they're broken. and you're doing it by yourself, and you're going through arguably one of the hardest training in the world. And these guys, most of them are healthy, and you're going through it broken, and you're already at a disadvantage, but you're still there. You can feed into that and tap into that for a lot of power. But if you look at it, well, I'm broken, man. Like, I'm not going to make it. But if you look at it as, man, I'm broken and I'm still here. And I'm fighting. And I'm going to find a way to get through this.
That was a quote by itself. You said that you can look at it two ways. You can look at it as saying that, oh man, I'm broken. I don't know if I'm going to make it. And change that perception towards, man, I'm broken and I'm still here. Think about it. Right now, you may feel broken, but you're still here. The fact that you're living and breathing and watching this video, you're still here. Let that be some encouragement because you're here.
Because I have no other place to go. It gives you a lot of power. When things start to suck really, really bad, my brain and a lot of people's brain, they don't go to your dad beating you up. Your brain says, we gotta get out of here. This is miserable. So anger goes away a lot of times when you're suffering because your brain just says, we gotta run, we gotta go. So that anger is not popping up saying, oh, I'm gonna show them, I'm gonna show those people. No, there has to be a much deeper. When I say deeper, it has to be down to mineral soil. It has to be down to that nice mineral soil where nothing can burn. You can't burn dirt. So it has to be down that low, that literally is something in you that's at the core of your soul. But you don't find it unless you spend a lot of time with what you want to be in life. I can't give that to you. Right. You can't give it to somebody. When you find your true passion in life, and my passion for me was like, oh, I want to be, I didn't give a Navy SEALs, Army, I don't give a shit. I want to serve my country. I want to be someone that I'm proud of. I want to look at myself in the mirror because I was so disappointed. That accountability mirror I talk about, I was so disappointed in what I saw every day. I wanted everybody to love David Goggins. And a lot of people did. I didn't love myself. But I knew a lot of us want to find peace first. So people say, man, you always talk about this suffering and pain. I'm at peace right now because I went through that. You don't find peace first. If you do, Merry Christmas. More power to you. More power to you. I found peace on the opposite end of finding myself. And no one really finds himself without going through trials, tribulations, suffering, accountability. And accountability is suffering. Being accountable every day for doing right for yourself, for the people next to you, it's miserable. It's hard. So, even the smallest details.
Wow. So much truth in what he said. He said, if the one thing to take from this video, I would say, from David Goggins, is for one, dang, he did all that. But two, you can do it too. Not necessarily what he's doing, as in unless you really want to, but especially towards what he said towards the end. That's what I really think is important of what he was talking about. So let me just replay that small little part right here.
That accountability mirror I talk about, I was so disappointed in what I saw every day. I wanted everybody to love David Goggins. And a lot of people did. I didn't love myself. But I knew a lot of us want to find peace first. So people say, man, you always talk about this suffering and pain. I'm at peace right now because I went through that.
That part. So he was saying that you cannot have peace until you done suffered. And suffering isn't something that you should necessarily avoid unless it's useless suffering. Suffering, as in if you're at the gym, I use the reference because that's what most people can relate to. If you're at the gym or whatever that it may be, that you have to have some type of suffering before that you can have peace. You can't really have peace without you truly suffering in one way or another. And that's just what's important for you to recognize is what you going through right now. Are you going through it or are you growing from it? You can look at yourself as being buried, or like what you saw the plant in the video, you can see yourself as being planted. The only difference of the two is buried is death, and to be planted is to grow. It's to have a new. And guess what? Majority of the beginning process, you can't even see it because it has a gestation period until it becomes a plant. Heck, I believe it's called a bamboo shoot tree. Literally from watering it and giving it the proper sunlight, it takes 2 years for it to actually sprout out the ground. But when it sprouts out the ground, it grows like over like 15 feet, 20 something feet tall in like a week. So the question is actually, did it take 2 years for it to grow into that 15, 20 feet bamboo shoot tree? Or did it take it a week? So that's just one thing I think that's pretty powerful. And just from that, I'm just like, for one, if you love what you saw from David Goggins, and I just want to let you know that he has a book as well. It's man, I heard the audio towards it. I haven't finished it yet, but man, I'm just telling you, it's so impactful. Anywhere from the accountability mirror to seeing where he done came from, and to be able to see that heck, if someone like himself can do it, someone who supposedly had learning disabilities and overweight, depressed, eating the junkiest of food, to becoming somebody that everyone admires and has to respect. Like you cannot like the man; he doesn't care. But one thing you're gonna do is respect him. If it's one thing that he done became, is a man that men respect and women love. Because at the end of the day, respect is where it's done, is where it's due. And that's exactly what he got, especially from me. So from that, if you love this video, of course, like, man, it'd do me an honor for you to subscribe. But most importantly, make a comment. Make a comment towards what's one thing that you learned and what's one thing that you liked from David Goggins. Is it something that I said that you liked or relate with? Is this something that you feel that can help change your life? Have you become more than what you are because you become more than what you think you can be? In order for us to be able to see change in our lives, we have to change. And it starts with us. If you learn anything from David Goggins today, that it starts with us. It's not going to start with your mama. It ain't going to start with whoever raised you, your grandmama, grandpa, whoever that it may be. It starts with you. It doesn't matter towards how you feel about it. Because at the end of the day, nobody cares. Nobody cares but you. We then came into this world not under our own discretion. We're not responsible for what we was born with, but we are responsible for how things end. It starts with us. So from that, thank you once again for being here. This is Thaddeus, aka Thatheisonebillion. If you love towards what you see, you want to get to know a little bit more about me, you can follow my Instagram at, of course, just like the Instagram, YouTube name, that he is 1 billion, because together a billion people can start more than just a billion intellectual conversations, but we can change the movement of the world into a positive direction. It's the things that can really bring good things. It starts with your self-image. How do you want to present yourself? How do you want others to present you? What type of respect do you want to get? What's the type of respect you're giving? Put your energy into the things that truly matter. Surround yourself with those, even if you're not able to be around temporarily for the moment. of those who you want to be around. Prioritize your learning and your thoughts for when you are. Because if you think about something that you want to be and you put it into action towards that something you want to be often enough, eventually you'll become it. This is Thatheisonebillion, and I'll see you, family, on the next clip. But before that, just remember, if you think that you can or you can't, you're right either way. I'll see you next time, family.